Mark chapter 9 and verse number 24. I do believe. Help my unbelief. This heartfelt cry comes from a father desperate for his son's healing. It captures a profound tension many believers feel, but often don't articulate: the coexistence of both faith and doubt. This text reassures us that it is okay to acknowledge both belief and unbelief as we navigate our journey with God. But modern church culture often pressures believers to present an image of unwavering faith. We hear slogans like, "Too blessed to be stressed," "God said it, I believe it, that settles it." And while these phrases sound encouraging, they can sometimes create an environment where expressing doubt feels like failure. But today's text challenges this notion. This father declares his faith. He said, "I believe," but immediately follows with a confession of weakness. "Help my unbelief." This raw honesty invites us to do the exact same thing. The father's struggles come from deeply personal pain. His son had been tormented by an unclean spirit since childhood, experiencing seizures so violent that they threatened his life. Any parent in his position would question fairness and justice. Why would a loving God allow this? Why his family and not other families? This relentless suffering undoubtedly chipped away little by little at his faith. Adding to his despair, this father sought help from the disciples of Jesus, but they could not cast out the unclean spirit. This failure sparked a public argument between the disciples and the scribes, turning a moment of need into a theological debate. How often does this happen today? Churches can argue about minor issues, but the suffering world looks on, wondering why their problems remain unaddressed. This father's disappointment with religion mirrors the doubt many people feel when spiritual communities fail to provide real, authentic help. Doubt also arises when we approach God with unrealistic expectations, often shaped by a prosperity-focused gospel. Some are led to believe that faith guarantees an easy, prosperous life, but Jesus never promised ease. He did call for his followers to practice self-denial, sacrifice, and carrying their cross daily. And when life becomes difficult, those with misplaced expectations may find their faith shaken. True faith is not about avoiding suffering. It's about trusting God through it. This father's cry shows us that doubt is not the end of faith, but for many it is part of the journey. Jesus didn't reject him for his unbelief. Instead, he worked with him, loved him, and healed his son. This same Jesus invites us to bring our doubts and fears to him. Your doubts do not scare him. Your uncertainty doesn't repel him. He meets you where you are and calls you forward. So today, let us take a step of faith, even if it's a small step, trusting Jesus, the Messiah, as the Son of God. He accepts you with all of your questions and meets you in the waters of baptism, ready to walk with you in the newness of life.